Welcome to the deep dive. Now, if you spent any time learning English, you've probably heard the usual advice, right? Bury yourself in grammar books, make endless vocabulary lists, get your writing perfect. We're often told fluency is built, well, brick by painstaking brick, slowly. But what if? What if the biggest key isn't what you read or write, but actually what you say? That's the really surprising idea our source material digs into, and that's our mission for today's deep dive. We're going to uncover why speaking might just be the ultimate shortcut to becoming truly fluent in English. We've looked at the core insights from your sources to give you a clear, kind of actionable blueprint, moving beyond just knowing English to actually, using it effortlessly.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating is how a lot of common ways of learning language just miss the power of active communication, the brain science behind it. So we'll be challenging some maybe long-held myths, looking at how your brain actually learns language when you speak. And then we'll give you some really concrete strategies, things you can start using, well, today. Get ready to maybe rethink how you approach learning English.
Okay, so let's jump right into the why. It sounds obvious maybe, but speaking is. It's way more than just getting words out. It's really the heart of communication, isn't it? It's where all that passive knowledge, the words you've read, the rules you studied, turns into something active, something powerful. It's where English stops being a subject and starts being a tool you can, well, actually use.
Exactly. And our sources point to some really fundamental reasons why speaking is just so crucial. One big one is how it builds what you could call automatic grammar usage. Think about it. Lots of learners know the rules, right? They can explain grammar, but then they freeze up in a real conversation. That's not because they don't know it. It's because they haven't practiced using it fast enough under pressure. So when you speak regularly, your brain kind of shifts gears. It goes from consciously trying to remember the rule to just automatically using it. It becomes procedural, like riding a bike. So instead of thinking, is it he go or he goes, your brain just spits out he goes because it sounds right, like a native speaker. That's automaticity. Using language without having to consciously think about the grammar.
That's a really key difference, isn't it? Moving from knowing about the language to actually using it intuitively. Can you give another example, maybe something beyond just verbs, that shows this automaticity?
Sure. Think about prepositions. They're tricky, right? On, in, at. Learners spend ages trying to memorize the rules, but through just speaking a lot, your brain starts to get a feel for it. Like, I am at work feels right, while I am in the office also feels right in a different context. It's not about recalling a rule anymore. It's this unconscious automatic choice based on hearing it and saying it over and over.
Right, like building up muscle memory, but for your mouth and brain working together. Okay, what else? How else does speaking change things?
Well, it massively improves your pronunciation and your listening skills too, actually. See, when you speak, you have to move your mouth, your tongue, your vocal cords in specific ways to make English sounds. And you hear yourself doing it. That feedback loop helps you adjust. Plus, if you do focus speaking while listening, like shadowing, we'll talk more about that you're training your ears for how native speakers actually sound, so listening gets easier. You start catching those fast contractions, the natural flow, because your brain's already practiced making those sounds itself. It's all connected.
Okay, so it's not just about making sounds, but about tuning your ear because you're making them. Makes sense. And what about vocabulary? All those words we learn, how does speaking help make them stick?
That's another huge benefit. Speaking really locks vocabulary into your memory, much better than just reading. Because knowing a word passively from a list is one thing, but saying it out loud, you're using your mouth muscles, you're hearing the sound, and you're connecting it to the meaning in that specific moment, in that conversation. It's like your brain puts a bigger importance tag on words you actually use. It involves more senses, more motor activity, makes them easier to pull out later. You're not just using them, you're kind of living them for a moment.
So anchoring those words through real use. Okay. And I guess all this, the automatic grammar, the better listening, the sticky vocabulary, and it must do wonders for confidence, right? Which is often the biggest barrier.
Oh, absolutely. That's the final key piece. Speaking builds confidence for real life, massively. So many learners understand English well, but they just freeze up when it's their turn to talk. And that's because confidence comes from doing, not just from knowing stuff. When you practice speaking consistently, even just talking to yourself or with someone supportive, that fear starts to shrink. You start focusing less on mistakes and more on just connecting with the other person. And this practice gets you ready for the real deal. Asking a question in class, a job interview, whatever it is, confidence isn't something you wait for. You build it, one sentence at a time, just by speaking.
Okay, so we've clearly established why speaking is so central. It's the engine of fluency. But let's be honest, it comes with hurdles. Big ones sometimes. They can feel like brick walls. And these challenges, they're normal, right? Everyone faces them. It's where people often get stuck. But the good news is our sources offer some really practical ways to get over these humps.
That's right. Let's tackle them head on. Probably the biggest one people mention is the fear of making mistakes, worrying about saying something wrong, bad pronunciation, sounding silly. But here's the thing, and language research backs this up. Mistakes are not just okay, they're essential. They're how you learn. They're like little signals to your brain about what needs adjusting. You can't get fluent without making them, period. So the trick is to shift your focus. Aim for communication, not perfection. Especially at first. Practice where you feel safe, supportive friends, maybe an AI tool that won't judge you. The fear does lessen with practice.
But what about that worry, that if you speak too early with mistakes, you'll just bake in bad habits? Is that a real risk?
It's a common concern, yeah. But what the sources really emphasize is that some speaking is always better than no speaking. Getting fluent, getting the words flowing, that usually needs to come first. Build that confidence, that automaticity. Accuracy improves over time. With more listening, more practice, maybe some feedback, your brain naturally starts noticing the gaps and self-correcting as you get more input. So the initial goal is just to get talking. Activate the language. Don't aim for flawless right out of the gate.
Okay, so embrace the messiness of learning. Got it. What about just feeling shy or nervous, that physical feeling when you have to speak?
Oh yeah, that anxiety is very real. It's physiological. But the good news is you can get used to it. You can desensitize yourself. The more you put yourself in speaking situations, especially low-pressure ones, the less scary it feels. Your brain learns it's not actually dangerous. So the advice is start small, really small. Talk to yourself in the mirror, then maybe send voice messages to a friend. Then record yourself. Then try short, live conversations. Even just 5 minutes a day helps make it feel less weird, less threatening, builds familiarity.
And finding people to practice with. That used to be a big problem for lots of learners. Is it still?
Honestly, not so much anymore. Technology has really changed the game here.
Mhm.
Our sources point this out clearly. You can connect with native speakers all over the world using apps. Things like Tandem, HelloTalk. There are online speaking clubs, Zoom groups, communities on Discord or Reddit for language exchange. And then you have AI tutors. They're available 24/7, totally judgment-free. So the barrier isn't really finding partners anymore. It's more about, taking the initiative to use these tools.
Right. Okay. And what about that feeling when you're talking and you can't find the right word? Limited vocabulary feels like hitting a wall.
Yeah, that's super frustrating, isn't it? You know the idea, but the word just isn't there when you need it. So instead of trying to learn hundreds of new words at once, which is overwhelming, the advice is to focus on activating a few. Pick maybe 5 or 10 new words a week and really focus on using them every day in different sentences. Maybe keep a little list, a vocabulary journal, and challenge yourself. Okay, today I'm going to use these 5 words when I talk to myself or my partner. Using them actively in context, that's what moves them from your I recognize this word list to your I can actually use this word list.
Makes sense. Focus on active use of a few rather than passive knowledge of many. And the last challenge, how do you know if you're actually getting better? Or just repeating the same mistakes without feedback?
Yeah, feedback is super important for improving. You need to know what to fix. So one way is to record yourself, then listen back critically. Compare yourself to a native speaker maybe. You'll start hearing things. There are also apps like Elsa Speak or Speechling that give you specific feedback on your pronunciation using AI. They can tell you exactly which sounds need work. Or if you have a tutor or a language partner you trust, you can specifically ask them. Say, hey, could you gently point out maybe 1 or 2 big mistakes I keep making? Just identifying the errors is the first step. Then you can work on them. It creates that learning loop.
Okay, brilliant. So we know why speaking is crucial, and we've tackled the common roadblocks. Now for the really exciting part, the aha moment. This is your blueprint. We're moving from the theory to the actual how-to, concrete strategies you can use to really accelerate your fluency.
All right, let's get practical. Here are 8 really powerful strategies, all based on the source material. Number 1, and this is kind of non-negotiable, start speaking from day 1. Don't wait until you feel ready, because honestly, you might never feel perfectly ready. Just start. Activate the language. Even with super simple phrases, my name is, I like, I don't understand. Say them out loud every day. Make it part of your routine. And a great way to do this without any pressure is strategy number 2, which is actually related. Talk to yourself in English. Seriously, use mirror talk. Stand in front of the mirror. Introduce yourself. Talk about your plans. Or narrate your day. as you're doing things. I am making coffee now. I need to walk the dog. It sounds maybe a bit odd at first, but it builds really useful everyday vocabulary and massive confidence because nobody's listening. The key here is making it a habit. Just 5 or 10 minutes daily. Consistency is everything.
I love that narrating idea, turning mundane tasks into practice. So simple, but effective. Okay, what's next?
Number 3, use the shadowing technique. This is more than just repeating. It's like neurological training. You listen to a native speaker, maybe a short clip from YouTube, a podcast, a TED Talk, and you repeat immediately, trying to copy everything. Not just the words, but the rhythm, the intonation, the speed, how sounds link together. Choose clear audio. Don't pause it at first. Just try to keep up. Focus on how their mouth moves, if you can see them, the stress patterns. Doing this for 10-15 minutes a day trains your mouth muscles and your brain to produce English sounds more naturally. It bypasses translation. Big benefits for pronunciation, listening skills, speaking speed, and confidence. Quick tip. Start with subtitles on to help, then try turning them off. There are tools like Language Reactor, that Chrome extension, which are great for this on Netflix or YouTube.
Shadowing sounds intense, but really powerful for getting that natural flow. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're speaking more. How do you check your own progress and refine things?
That brings us to strategy number 4. Record yourself speaking. Be your own coach. Start small. Record yourself talking for just a minute or two. Introduce yourself. Talk about your day. Answer a prompt. Then, the crucial part, listen back. Critically. How's the pronunciation? Speed, grammar, clarity. Make notes on what you want to improve. Then try recording the same thing again, focusing on those points. It's a really active way to improve, and saving your recordings lets you hear your progress over time, which is super motivating.
Yeah, hearing your own voice objectively, it can be a bit cringe at first maybe, but so valuable, becoming your own teacher. But what about interacting with actual people? Moving beyond solo practice.
Absolutely essential. Which leads to strategy number 5. Join speaking communities. This gives you that regular interaction, keeps you motivated, and gives you real-world practice. Use those language exchange apps we mentioned, Tandem, HelloTalk, Speaky. Connect with people. Look for Facebook groups like English Speaking Practice, check out Reddit's Language Exchange, or find Discord servers dedicated to language learning. Join online speaking clubs, participate in Zoom discussions, try role-playing activities. You learn so much from hearing different accents and just being in that supportive group vibe.
Great options for finding human connection. But what if you're still feeling shy? Or maybe your schedule makes finding a live partner tricky?
Then strategy number 6 is your friend. Practice with AI or virtual tutors. These are fantastic because they're available 24/7, no scheduling needed, and there's zero fear of judgment. It's a safe space. You can use ChatGPT's voice mode for conversations. Ask it questions, practice small talk, role-play scenarios like being a hotel receptionist or doing a mock interview. Apps like Elsa Speak are amazing AI pronunciation coaches. They pinpoint exactly which sounds you need to work on, like the or are, and give you feedback. Duolingo also has AI features for practicing phrases. The big win here is that instant objective feedback on your pronunciation and fluency without any human pressure.
That instant feedback loop from AI sounds like a real game changer for drilling down on specific issues. Sometimes, though, the problem isn't the partner. It's just, what do I even talk about? Blank page syndrome.
Totally happens. Which is why strategy number 7 is so useful. Use speaking prompts. These are just simple questions or topics to get you talking for, say, 1 to 2 minutes straight, without stopping to translate in your head. This is brilliant for training your brain to actually think in English, to build sentences on the fly, use the vocabulary you have, and structure your thoughts. Examples are easy. What did you do yesterday? What are your plans for the weekend? Describe your favorite movie. What's your opinion on? If you won the lottery, what would you do? Just pick one, press record, or talk to your AI buddy and go for it.
That's a really smart way to force spontaneous speech. Okay, we're getting a lot of great tactics. How can someone weave these into a regular routine?
Okay, strategy number 8 helps tie it together. Create your personal speaking diary. This is basically a daily habit. Just record a 1-2 minute voice note about anything. Your thoughts, feelings, what happened that day. It's super low pressure, just you talking. It trains your mouth and mind to work together in English consistently, builds fluency without stress. You could even structure your week. Monday, talk about the weekend. Tuesday, describe a favorite food. Wednesday, share a memory. And critically listen back to older entries once a week. You will hear improvement. You'll spot patterns, things to work on. The mindset is key here. Focus on progress, not making it perfect every time.
That daily diary sounds like a really sustainable way to build the habit. Okay, one more strategy.
Yes, the final one, number 9, focuses on making common interactions smooth. repeat and revise common conversations. The idea here is to get automatic fluency for those everyday situations you encounter all the time. So actively practice the dialogues. Ordering food. Can I see the menu, please? I'll have at the airport. Where is gate B2? Is my flight on time? Meeting someone. Hi, my name's. Nice to meet you. Talking to a friend. How was your weekend? What are you up to? When you drill these common scripts, your brain learns to respond automatically. The words just flow. It builds huge confidence for real-life encounters because you know you can handle these basic interactions.
This is such a practical set of strategies, a real blueprint. Okay, so we have the how-to. Let's quickly touch on some specific tools again, maybe some we haven't emphasized, to support this speaking-first approach.
Sure. You mentioned some, but let's recap and add a couple. YouGlish is fantastic for hearing how words or short phrases are actually used in context. It searches YouTube videos. Great for pronunciation and natural usage. Tandem and HelloTalk for finding real human practice partners. Elsa Speak for that detailed AI pronunciation feedback. ChatGPT voice mode for versatile conversation practice. Also, resources like BBC Learning English or TalkEnglish.com often have great structured lessons focusing specifically on speaking and listening with dialogues you can practice. And Language Reactor, that Chrome extension, is brilliant for shadowing with subtitles on video platforms.
That's a great toolkit. And with all these options, it might still feel like, how do I fit this in?
Yeah.
But the sources actually suggest a pretty manageable daily routine, just 30 minutes total. Think about it. Maybe 5 minutes shattering a clip, 5 minutes using a prompt or just describing your day out loud, 10 minutes recording yourself and quickly listening back for one key thing to improve, 5 minutes chatting with a language partner or an AI, and 5 minutes running through one of those common dialogues. That's doable, right? Consistency over long sessions.
Exactly. And while you're doing this, keep a few crucial don'ts in mind. Mistakes to avoid. First, please, don't wait to be perfect. Just start speaking. Perfection, or rather fluency, comes from speaking. Second, don't get totally bogged down in grammar rules while you're trying to speak. Let it flow. Refine grammar as a separate activity or as you notice patterns. Third, don't fear errors. Seriously, see them as learning opportunities. Your brain needs them. Fourth, make sure you do get some kind of feedback eventually. From recordings, apps, people, you need to know where to adjust. And lastly, try not to compare your progress to others. Everyone's journey is different. Focus on your own improvement.
Really important reminders. Keep that positive growth mindset. And any final tips for maybe speeding things up even more?
Yeah, a few quick ones. Consistency trumps everything. Speak daily, even briefly. Celebrate the small victories. Every time you manage a sentence, use a new word, acknowledge it. It builds momentum. Immerse yourself passively, too. Listen to English music, watch shows, listen to podcasts like this one. Keep English sounds in your ears. Get comfortable feeling a bit awkward sometimes. That discomfort zone is where the learning happens. And maybe the most powerful tip, start trying to think in English. Even simple thoughts. Instead of thinking in your native language, I'm hungry, try to switch the internal thought to, I am hungry. Then maybe, what should I eat? It retrains your brain's default mode.
That think in English tip is huge. Starts reprogramming from the inside out. And just to make it super practical, what are some real-life scenarios people should actively practice?
Oh, definitely practice. Introducing yourself confidently, giving simple directions, making a basic phone call, maybe booking something, ordering food and drink clearly, doing a mock job interview even with AI, describing a picture or a scene, and maybe even trying a simple debate or sharing your opinion on a topic. Practicing these specific situations builds real-world readiness.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's wrap this deep dive up. The core message is crystal clear, isn't it? Speaking isn't just one part of learning English. It's arguably the fastest, most effective route to real fluency. Every sentence you manage to say, even if it's halting or imperfect, every single practice session, it's moving you closer, exponentially closer to mastering English. It's not about being perfect now. It's about engaging actively, consistently. That's the journey. And we want to leave you with one final thought, a really powerful piece of advice from the sources. Practice like a child. Think about how kids learn. They don't study grammar rules first. They listen intently. They repeat everything. And they speak constantly without worrying about being wrong. They go for getting the message across fluency first. Accuracy develops over time. So our challenge to you is this. Pick just one thing we talked about today, just one strategy. Maybe it's talking to your reflection for 5 minutes, maybe shadowing a song you like, maybe asking ChatGPT a question. Whatever it is, start speaking. Start today. Your fluent future is absolutely waiting for you to speak it into existence.